Hello and welcome to The Buddha and the Coach, powered by Soul Performance Academy. I am your host, Dan Mickle. The Buddha and the Coach is a weekly vlog focused on looking at the teachings of the Buddha in a coaching light. The Buddha and the Coach is proud to be sponsored by It's Called Normal Athletics. ICN Athletics makes extraordinary ordinary through adaptive beach volleyball. Everyone should have the opportunity to enjoy and excel the sport, and It's Called Normal Athletics offers the programs and the educations to make it normal for adaptive athletes to play on any court. Help them make beach volleyball a better place for everybody. For more information, please visit icnathletics.com, and you can also make a donation to the 501c3 corporation via their website. Again, and as always, thanks to Dave and John for their continued support of this vlog and of course everything that they're doing with the adaptive athlete community. It's amazing. Check it out. Again, it's called Normal Athletics, icnathletics.com. All right, we are on lesson 27 of the Buddha, and that lesson states, when watching after yourself, you watch after others. When watching after others, you watch after yourself. And for me, what that means really in a nutshell is that empathy is contagious. And when we look after ourselves, we end up helping and looking after others. Because when we make ourselves better, we're making those around us better. As a coach, as a person, as a human, the best thing that we can do for everyone, including ourselves, is to get better. And of course, when we are watching after others and helping others, that's also going to make us feel better and grow and be better inside. And really just what that means is help each other, you help yourself. And by helping yourself, you help others. When we look at this in the coaching light, when we take the time to become better coaches, whether it's our tactics on the field or on the court, or whether it's just what we're doing to better ourselves as educators and coaches, it's going to force those around us to get better. They are going to have to keep up with us. Every time we get better, they need to get better to stay with us. It's always that chase, for lack of a better term. And we're not just talking about trying to get the wins and all that. We're talking about when we learn better methods and we learn how to communicate with our players and our opponents, our competition sees that, they also are going to have to take those steps. They are going to have to better themselves to stay with us. And I think that's a pretty big lesson right now, because we are in a strange space when it comes to coaching, where there's this big shift with how we get buy-in from the players, how those players and those students learn, and our old methods, our old ways aren't working or are not the most effective. We can still get wins and we can still have some pretty good teams going quote unquote old school with our training methods and how we handle things, but we're not getting the best out of our players that we could. And we have to kind of meet them on their ground, learn how they're learning, and apply those things. Video, audio, short clips, feed forward versus feedback. We've talked about that in other blogs and podcasts at Soul Performance Academy. But we have to learn, and it's always continually learning. And again, as we learn, then our competition, those around us, are also going to have to learn to keep up and to understand what we're doing. Your assistant coaches will have to continue to learn what you're learning. Now, as a head coach, a lot of times you're going to learn a lot more information and you pass it on to your assistants. But again, you learning that means that they're going to learn it as well. You're taking care of them. And again, if I see a program that we're competing against that's excelling, I want to know why. How are they doing it? Reaching out to those coaches, even though it's competitive, again, all of us working hard and being collaborative raises the quality of our sport and our coaching. We can still be rivals on the court, on the field, in the pool, wherever we are as coaches. But we want those other programs. We want those other coaches to get better because it pushes us and it makes us better. And then obviously if we see a team that's struggling, our coach is struggling, and we help them, that's obviously also going to help us. It's going to reinforce what we're doing. It's going to help us feel like what we're doing is right and continue to push those methods and what we're doing higher and forward. So again, we look at coaching sometimes as such this solo beam of light, but it's really not. It's a collection of all the lights around us. It's a collection of your assistant coaches. It's a collection of your players, your administrators, your managers, but it is also a collection of light from your competition. And then all of their beams of light, their assistant coaches, their players, and we're constantly learning from each other, seeing how something works, and then we incorporate it. And it's not just the sense of mimicking. Oh, hey, look, they're doing this training method. Let's do that. It really is about getting better and learning new methodologies and actually collaborating. There are a lot of sports where we see bitter rivals, NBA, NFL, but what we don't see is a lot of times those coaches are talking to each other and they're bouncing ideas off each other. We have to get away from this fact that we can't ask a competitor. I personally reached out to one of our biggest competitors this week and asked for help. There's an area that my program was struggling on and I needed help. I reached out to them. We play them. It's going to be great competition. But they are very good, and I knew that they were good at a weakness that we had. And they helped me instantly because they know us getting better is good for them. That's going to push them and make them better. And I think too many times we play things too close to the chest as coaches. We learn something and we're afraid to share it. We don't want to show these drills or how we scrimmage, or we're not talking about sharing lineups and those types of things. We are talking about how can we make our team better, which is going to push our competition. And what is my competition doing that's going to push me? And how can I learn from that? I probably spend just as much time in a match watching what my opponents do to learn not just how we can counter it, but hey, how does that work for them and how can I incorporate it into what we're doing? So again, I realize that when the Buddha talks about all this stuff, it's not about coaching, but it's so practical. He's obviously talking about, when we take care of ourselves, it helps others. Me being healthy helps those around me. Me helping those others around us be healthy ends up helping me. So watching after ourselves helps everyone around us, and helping those around us helps us. And again, that is the same thing that happens in the coaching world. But we have to set our ego aside, our pride aside, and realize that we need that to get better. A great polarizing example right now is what Coach Prime is doing at Colorado. And leaving Jackson State, and what he did at Jackson State. He transformed them. He's already transforming things at Colorado, a team that hasn't done very well. But as he gets them better, it's going to make his conference better. It's going to make those that they play better. So it not only is going to help them get more wins and move up in the rankings, it's going to help those they play and those that they compete with get better as well. Too many times we look at the schedule and we say, oh, I can't wait till we play this team because that's going to be a win because it's that team's down this year. We don't want that. We want the challenging games. We want teams that we play to have good records because they're going to push us. And I'm not talking about having good records number-wise and figuring out that. I'm talking about we want those teams to be good because we want them to push us and bring out the best in us. How many times have we seen in schools that have automatic bursts? They play in a conference or they play in a league where there isn't any challenge for them and they blow through it. They go undefeated and then they make it into playoffs under bracket play, and then all of a sudden they're one and done and they're out because they've never been pushed or challenged. That's not fair to those players. It's not fair to the rest of the teams because they want teams to push them. They want to be made better by those teams. And that's what we need to think of as a coach. How can I help my team so it helps the teams around me? But also, how can I help other teams so that it helps me? If a coach reaches out to me and says, hey, what drill do you do for this? What game do you do for this? I get it all the time on the mental side. Hey, I have a player that's struggling with this. How would you help them? I don't care if they're competition because I want them at their best. I don't want to play a team when they're missing players because of the flu or they're sick. I want them at their best because it's going to push us to be the best. And the whole other side of this is just the empathy factor. We struggle as coaches. Coaching is a tough profession. I don't want other coaches to go through that. If I can help a coach out and give them some pointers and say, hey, maybe try this, or this is how I dealt with this problem or this issue, of course I want to share that. But again, there's still this kind of old network where we're afraid to tell people our quote unquote secrets. We need to be willing to watch after others because it's going to help ourselves. Helping other coaches, helping other programs is going to help us. We're not going to give them our game plan. We're not going to give them the wins, but it's okay to help them. It's okay to help other coaches. We need more mentoring. We need more empathy in coaching. And I really, really think that this is how this lesson from the Buddha hits home. Again, when watching after yourself, you watch after others. When watching after others, you watch after yourself. When you help yourself, you're helping others. When you help others, you're helping yourself. We need to get back to helping each other. Stop being in these little islands with all these little secrets, and we're not going to tell anyone what we're doing. Share the knowledge. It'll make you better. It'll make them better. It'll make everyone better. It'll make your sport better. It's no fun when everything's dominant. We're recording this during March Madness of 2023. Look at the men's bracket. Who would have thought those teams would have been the Final Four? But that's what makes it exciting. Those teams are getting better. Let's find out why. Let's share. Let's figure it out. Let's do all that. All right. That's our lesson. Again, to nail it home, when you watch after yourself, you're watching after others. When you watch after others, you're watching after yourself. Help yourself to help others to help yourself. That is lesson 27 of the Buddha. Again, you can subscribe to this vlog. Click the button wherever it's at down below me. Share it. Get the word out. Let's start a conversation. How do you watch after yourself to help others, and how do you watch after others to help yourself? What have you done as a coach lately that not only helped you but helped the competition, and how have you helped the competition and other coaches, which in turn has helped you grow? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. Remember, you can hit me across all social media at Real Dan Mickle. Peace, much love, don't suck. Day one day. It's your choice, and I'll see you back here next week for the next Buddha and the Coach.